In this video, we're going to work on a problem that is asking us to find the perimeter and the area of a triangle given those vertices there. So we're going to start off with finding the perimeter. Now, because I'm given the vertices, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick sketch of the triangle on a coordinate plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot all those 3 points that I'm given on a coordinate plane. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because sometimes we can get information that we need to find the perimeter and the area if we have the shape, on a coordinate plane. So this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and plot our 3 points in this coordinate plane. Especially when you're finding the area, you can get all the information from the picture. So let's go ahead and start with point F. Then we're going to plot point G. And lastly, we're going to plot point H. And because I want to get as much information as possible from the diagram, I'm going to go ahead and form my triangle here. Okay, so to find the perimeter, we need to find all the length of all 3 sides because the perimeter is around the shape. So I need the length of these 3 sides. As mentioned, we can get some information from the actual diagram, and the information that we can get is the length of FH. Because it's a horizontal line, we can just count the number of squares between F and H, or we can just do the calculations how far they are from each other based on their coordinates. So F is at -4 and H is at 5, so the distance between them is 9 units. So the length of this side of the triangle would be 9 units. So that means we only need to do the work for the other 2 sides. So here I'm going to highlight the sides that we still need. And you can use 2 different methods. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to find those missing sides, or we can just use the distance formula. And I'm going to go ahead and use the distance formula. So all we need to do with the distance formula is find the difference between the x coordinates, which I'm going to label right here as f will be my x1, y1. The g will be x sub 2, y sub 2. So I'm going to take the difference of the x's first, which is -1 minus -4. And the y coordinates would be 5 minus -5. Remember, the formula already has a minus, so if the number that comes after is negative, you're going to include still the negative sign. So we get a double positive, we get a double negative inside the first parentheses. So it's going to turn into addition. So -1 plus 4 is 3. Same thing on the second parentheses. 3 squared is 9. And 10 squared is 100. If I add those 2 numbers, then I get 109. And because we're finding the perimeter, I'm going to do an approximation for the square root of 109 since 109 is not a perfect square. So if we round to the nearest hundreds, it would be 10.44. We're going to do a similar process for the other side, which is GH. Let's go ahead and relabel our points. So since we're still using G, I'm just going to leave it as G sub 2 and Y sub 2. So my H will become X sub 1 and Y sub 1. And it doesn't matter which one you assign as your X sub 1 and Y sub 1. So again, we're going to take the difference of our X coordinates and the difference of the Y coordinates. So inside the first parentheses, we're going to get -6 to the second power. We have a double negative in the second parentheses, so that's going to turn into addition, gives us 10 to the second power. -6 to the second power is 36, since we are multiplying -6 times -6. And if we round this to the nearest hundreds, we're going to get that it's approximately 11.66. So to find the perimeter, which is around the triangle, we just add the three sides that we have. So I'm going to add all those lengths. So that gives me a grand total of 31 point something. Let's find out exactly what it is. There's my length. I'm not given any specific units, so I'm just going to label it units. All right, and perimeter is what requires the most work. When we're finding the area, you're going to see that we can get all the information that we need straight from the picture, which is why it's a good idea to plot it on a coordinate plane. So here's our formula to finding the area. We multiply the base times the height, and then we just take half of that. So we know the base already. And I choose the base to be always that vertical or horizontal line on the triangle that we can just find the distance directly from our picture. The height will be it's perpendicular to the base. So here you see me doing a perpendicular line to the base. Perpendicular lines form a right angle. And that would be the height of the triangle, which is 10 units. So base times height is 90. Take half of 90, that would be 45. And since this area, it would be unit square. So we found the two items the problem was asking us for: perimeter and the area.